Welcome back to the vlog. Today I'm doing a $300 buy-in at the 1-3 game and I pick up ace-8 of clubs under the gun. I'm going to open the action. I make it 13. The cutoff calls, the small blind defends, $42 in the pot, headed 3 ways to the flop, and it comes out 4-6 queen. I have 3 clubs but not much else. I'm going to continue betting. I go 20, and the cutoff is the only player that wants to call, 82 in the pot, and the turn is the king of hearts. My club doesn't get there. My ace doesn't connect with the board. It checks through. We go to the river. It's the 8 of spades. This time I do connect, but there's 2 overs on top. I'm going to go ahead and put out a bet, attack this board. I bet 60, and 60 is going to do it. I'm scooping the pot up to 349, and I pick up 4-3 of hearts. A suited connector on the button, good enough for me to play when the under the gun middle position and cutoff player limp. I raise it up 5 reds to 25, and the under the gun middle position player and cutoff make the call. 104 in the pot, 4-way action headed to the flop, and it's ace jack 4. I've paired the board, and there's 2 hearts. I have to tread very carefully because even though I have a lot going on, my hand is still not that strong. Even if I hit the flush, it's still going to be dangerous. When it checks through to me, I want to continue building this pot. Surely someone has an ace. I make a medium-sized pot bet of 50. All the players fold. It's going to get through. And now my stack's up to $411. I move to a new table with a full ring, and I pick up king jack offsuit in the big blind. The hijack limps. The cutoff makes it 12. I make the call. The hijack makes a call. 3-way action to the flop. 37 in the pot. The board comes out 8-10-5. I've got my 2 overs, 3 hearts, but nothing else. It checks through the flop. We head to the turn. It's the 9 of clubs. Now I have an open ender. That's good enough for me to bet. I make it 25. The hijack wants to stick around. He makes the call. Heads up action to the river. It's the jack of hearts. Puts 4 to the straight out there, but it also gives me top pair. This time I check to my opponent, and he's going to take the lead. He bets 25. 25 seems like a value bet, but it is also not that much. I make the call, and he flips over queen jack. He hit the jack too, but he has the queen for the straight. He's scooping the pot. 358 in my stack. If you're like me, you love free things, and guess what's free? Hitting that like button. Not only is it free, but it really helps my channel. Your support is incredible. It really pushes me forward, really encourages me to grow. I scoop a few very small pots that aren't worth going over. I win it up to 386, and I pick up king jack of spades. This time, it's suited. I'm going to open the action up. I bet 13, and the big blind's the only player that wants to call. Incredibly enough, I have position, and the flop comes out 8, queen 6, 2 spades. I'm drawing to 1 more spade, and I'm going to bet 17 to go. The big blind makes the call. The turn comes out. The 10 of diamonds doesn't get me there, but I do pick up an open-ended. I'm going to continue betting. I make it 35, and this time the big blind goes over the top of me, makes it 85. I've got some options. I could just make the call. I'm definitely not going to fold. I could ship it all in as well. I was concerned shipping it all in with 1 card to go. Sure, I have a lot of draws, but I don't have a made hand. If it comes a blank, I'm not going to make the money. I'm not going to scoop the pot. Looking at this hand right now, I definitely think I should ship it all in, but no, I just make the call. The river comes out. It's the 7 of diamonds. It's a good thing I just made the call. Now I can get away from the hand, although I had fold equity if I would have shipped over the top of them. The big blind bet $70 into me. 302 in the pot. It's a lot of chips, but it's definitely nothing I can win. I make the fold. I get 100 reds and top off to $29. Put the rest in my pocket. The next hand I pick up is ace deuce into small blind. 300 in my stack. There is a under the gun straddle on the pot. The button makes the call. And once again, as we've seen many times, when I get down a little bit, I play a little looser. When I get up, I play a little tighter. I open it to 25. The button's the only player that wants to make the call. He puts in the remaining 1963 in the pot. Heads up action to the flop. It's queen, queen 5. I check to my opponent. He checks back to me. The turn is the 6 of spades. Of course, it doesn't help me, but I'm going to take a stab at the pot. I make it 15. The button isn't a believer, or he has a queen, and he puts in a raise to 35. I think I should just go away from this hand. I only have ace high, but ace high could be good. My opponent's basically telling me that he has a queen. I think he might have sized up a little bit larger if he did have the queen, just because of the straights out there. Either way, regardless if my logic is sound or flawed, I just don't believe him, and I'm going to put in a raise on top of him. I make it 90 total. If he has a queen, especially a solid queen, he's definitely going to come over the top of me. If he just makes a call, I might have to ship it all in on the river. Luckily, he doesn't. He makes the fold, and I'm scooping the pot. 369 in my stack, and I pick up queen 10 of diamonds in the small blind. The middle position player raises it to 18. The other middle position player calls. I probably should 3-bet or fold this hand, but I just decided to make a wussy call instead. Heads up action going to the flop, and it comes out a monotone board. I check to the middle position player. He puts in a bet for 22. I did make a pair of 10s, and I might be able to get my opponent off the hand. I make the call. The turn is the 4 of clubs, putting 4 clubs on the board. It checks through, and the river is the king of clubs, 5 clubs. I've got a flush. My opponent has a flush. The question is, does he have any club in his hand besides the deuce? We're going to find out right now. I put 70 into the pot. My opponent looks at his cards. I think he's going to fold. I'm feeling good. I'm going to get this one through. But then he does a fake out and ships 170 into the pot, 100 on top of me. Not a good outcome to my plan. I definitely don't have his hand beat. Maybe he's bluffing me like I did the player in the previous hand, but I don't want to find out. I make the fold. Once again, I top off $41 this time. I'm in for 370. And the next hand I get is ace-7 of clubs. The cutoff makes it 9. I make the call. Once again, I could 3-bet this since I have position. I'd much rather do it with ace-5, ace-4 of clubs. The small blind makes the call. Three-way action to the flop. I have position, and it's ace-5 jack. I hit my top pair, but my kicker's not so hot, and there's 3 diamonds on the board. I hate these monotone boards. The cutoff bet's 11. It's not a big bet, and I'm not going to leave quite yet with my top pair. I make the call. The small blind makes the call as well. The turn comes to 7 of hearts, giving me 2 pair. And this time when it checks to me, I have to protect my hand a little bit. I don't want to bet too much. I decide on 25. I get 1 caller. The small blind comes along. 116 in the pot. We're going to the river. It's the 10 of hearts. No more diamonds coming. I likely have the best hand. But when my opponent checks to me, I want to play it safe. I don't want to get greedy. I don't want to be faced with a tough decision if he goes over the top of me. So I just check back, show my hand, and it's good. I'm scooping the pot, 360 in my stack. And the next hand I pick up is ace-10 offsuit in the big blind, the under the middle position and hijack limp. And then the small blind decides he's going to get frisky, raises it up to 13. For whatever reason, I got that tingle that I want to jingle, and I bump it up. I make it 40. He makes the call. I'm going heads up to the flop with position, mono-y-mono versus the small blind. And the flop comes out 2, 9, 10. I hit my top pair. I've got the best kicker. I'm going to continue to bet. I make it 55. My opponent thinks a while, counts out chips, and then pulls another stack to the side of it, and slides in $200 worth of chips. When I look at the options of hands he could have, it's likely that he could have 10-9, maybe a set of 9s, maybe a set of deuces. Out of all those hands, he'd probably have a set of 9s because I'm blocking the 9-10 and pocket deuces. May fold for my big bet pre-flop, but he has a lot of draws. Look at all those hard draws. Look at all those straight draws. I think I might have to fade some outs if I make the call, but I'm definitely not going to fold top on this board. I ship it all in. He makes it the quick call for 120 more. And the turn is the 8 of clubs, completing some straights and 2 pairs. The river is the 7 of diamonds, one of the worst cards I could see. My opponent flips over 10 king. I am out kicked by 1 rank. And thank goodness, because I'm scooping in a big pot, 729 at my stack. A few hands later, I pick up the beautiful ladies, pocket queens, in the cutoff, 707 in my stack. The end of the gun, middle position player of limped. The hijack's maybe playing his position, maybe he's playing his hand, maybe a little bit of both because he puts in a raise to 16. That's not going to fly for me. Once again, I'm going to 3-bet, this time 40. Like little fish, bigger fish. When I pounce on the hijack, the button is maybe making a move on both of us. Cold calls 40. The hijack makes the call. We're headed to the flop 3 ways, 5 deuce 9. I do have the queen of clubs, which blocks quite a few club hands. I'm going to lead out for almost pot, 85. The button decides that's not enough for him. He ships his whole stack in, 205. 120 more for me to call. I'm definitely calling, 530 in the pot. The turn is the 8 of spades. The river is the 7 of diamonds. My opponent flips up 8-6 of clubs. Flopped the flush and went runner for the straight. Devastating to me and devastating to my stack. I toss away a bunch of junk hands. Decide the seat's just not doing it for me. I go across the table to C8. It's a better angle for the vlog anyways. And then I pick up ace-jack offsuit in the big blind. The middle position player limps. The low jack puts in the bet to 15. And once again, I'm getting frisky. I'm 3-betting. I should have 3-bet a little more at the beginning of the session. I'm making up for it at the end. And I go with 50. The middle position player makes the call. The low jack calls as well. People are not scared to call 3-bets at this table, and I like it. The board comes out 8 deuce king. Not a good texture for my hand, but a great texture for my rage. I'm going to go ahead and bet. I make it 80, and both players fold. I'm scooping at 531 in my stack, and I don't have to wait too long for my next hand. I pick up queen jack offsuit in the cutoff. The other gun player limps. So does the middle position, low jack and hijack. Once again, I've got fire in my blood. I make it 30. Definitely don't recommend this. This is a subpar hand. I should have just folded, but I'm kind of getting excited. I'm on a comeback. I've got position. No one else is showing aggression, but they're definitely showing they're willing to limp call. The under the gun player doesn't want to limp call, though. He wants to limp raise. He makes it 73. I've been facing this issue recently. When I get 3-bet, players don't 3-bet very large. Usually it's just a little bit over half of what I put in. And so for me to call 40 more when I already have 30 invested, I say I might as well. I am assuming that they have aces or kings, that if I get lucky, make 2 pairs straight, I'll take their whole stack. Tell me if this is flawed logic. Should I just throw this hand away? Or is it okay to call the remaining 43? 159 in the pot, heads up, mono-y-mono, and the flop comes out ace-jack, ace, 2 aces on the board, making it less likely he has an ace. I'm going to play it slow, pot control, but I don't get that choice because the under the gun player ships his whole stack in 192 for me to call. Would he do this with an ace? I really don't think so. Do I think I should probably fold here? I probably should fold, but he could be doing it with pocket 10s. He could be doing it with jack 10 suited. I'm not exactly sure. At the end of the day, I do decide to make the call. The turn comes out the deuce of diamonds, and the river is the deuce of spades. It's a pretty clean run out, but my opponent flips up pocket kings. This hand kind of reminds me of when I hit the bad beat jackpot. If you haven't seen that, it's right at the top of your screen right now. When I pick up pocket aces, get a little money in the pot, and take it down on the flop. I'm back up to even. I rack up my chips. I'm going to get out of here. And the next hand I get is 5-4 diamonds on the button. It's a suited connector. It's beautiful, but I'm on the way out, and it's always a curse. It's always a danger. It's always a huge risk. When you rack up your chips, it's the easiest time to lose them. The middle position makes the call. The other middle position calls. And if I'm going to make the call on the button, I should definitely put in a raise. But I'm right at even. And so I just decide I'm just going to see the flop. I make the call. The small blind completes. We're going 6 ways to the flop. $18 in the pot. And the dealer puts out 4, 7, 5. Will you look at that? I've hit my 2 pair, bottom 2 pair, slightly connected board, not worrying about the flushes. Checks through to me, I bet 15. And the big blind, who just so casually checked when the flop came out, puts in a raise to 35. The middle position player, who also just so casually checked, makes a call for 35. Now I'm concerned, is there already a mate straight out there? Is there possibly a set? What am I dealing with? Should I put more money in the pot? Should I go over the top of them, try to force out these draws? Or should I just play it cool, see the turn? I'm on my way out. This is exactly what I expected to happen. A great flop and a terrible turn in river, making me lose my entire stack. So I just make the call. 123 in the pot. We're headed to the turn. And it's the 5 of spades. I hit my boat. I don't have much to be scared of now. As a matter of fact, I'm not scared of anything. At this point, I want to get all the money into the pot. It checks through to me, just like on the flop. I'm thinking I got some snakes waiting in the grass. Little do they know that I am a king cobra. Like one of those fish under the ocean that has a little light on their head. I want to kind of jingle an enticing bet out there, hoping that one of them goes for the re-raise. I make it 60. Unfortunately, the big blind, who raised me on the flop, gets out of the way. The middle position makes the call, though. We're headed to the river, and it's the ace of hearts, a great card to see. If my opponent was hanging around with ace-king, I got him now. If he had ace-7, he's in big trouble. This time he checks to me. I could go big like Babe Ruth on this baby, but I want to go just small enough to where I can get a call from hands all the way down to some 7s, maybe even 4s. I go with a very precise, very calculated, very GTO bet of 134. The middle position player considers it, thinks it over, is not convinced that I have the winning hand, and decides to make the call. I flip over my full house, and it is going to be good, of course. I'm scooping a massive pot. Waves of chips are coming my way. I was racked up, ready to go, content with being even on a little comeback session, but the poker gods paid me off big time, right when I needed it, right before it was too late. 6-1 on my stack. Although I had racked up my chips and was literally playing my last hand on the button, I stayed a little bit longer out of respect. I won a few more small pots, and then took my chips to the cage to turn them into cold hard cash, in for 400, out for 692, for a cool profit of 292. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, join the family, join the fun. Make sure you do. See you next time. Kato out.